Title 2 Light and 3 Light Studio Setups. Module: Studio Lighting Fundamentals. Once you become comfortable working with a single light, the next step is learning how to use additional lights without losing simplicity. Many beginners believe that adding more lights automatically creates better photographs. In reality, every additional light should have a specific purpose. If a light does not improve the image, it does not belong in the setup. Professional photographers rarely begin with 3 lights. They start with 1 light, perfect its position, and then add a second or third light only when it contributes to the artistic vision. A 2-light setup usually consists of a key light and a fill light. The key light remains the primary source of illumination. It defines the direction of light, creates the main highlights, and establishes the overall mood of the photograph. The fill light has a different role. It softens the shadows created by the key light. Instead of introducing a new lighting direction, it gently reduces contrast while preserving the natural appearance of the image. The fill light should almost always be less powerful than the key light. If both lights have the same brightness, the photograph often appears flat because the shadows disappear. The amount of fill determines the mood. A small amount of fill creates deeper shadows and a more dramatic image. More fill produces softer contrast and a brighter, more open feeling. Neither choice is correct or incorrect. The decision depends on the emotional atmosphere you want to create. Another common 2-light arrangement uses a key light and a rim light. Instead of filling shadows, the second light is placed behind the subject. This rim light creates a thin highlight around the edges of the body, separating the figure from the background. Hair may glow, shoulders become more defined, and the human form gains a beautiful sense of depth. Rim lighting is especially effective when photographing against dark backgrounds because it prevents the subject from blending into the surroundings. A third light expands your creative possibilities even further. One popular 3-light arrangement consists of a key light, a fill light, and a background light. The background light illuminates the backdrop rather than the subject. It can brighten a white background, create a gentle gradient, or isolate the figure with a subtle halo of light. This simple addition often gives studio photographs a polished, professional appearance. Another common 3-light setup includes a key light, a fill light, and a hair light. A hair light is positioned above and behind the subject. It gently highlights the hair and upper shoulders, adding separation and dimension without overpowering the main lighting. Some photographers replace the hair light with a second rim light, placing one on each side of the subject. This creates symmetrical edge lighting that beautifully outlines the body, particularly in fine art figure photography where the shape of the human form plays a central role. As you add more lights, one principle becomes increasingly important. Every light must have a purpose. Before turning on another light, ask yourself a simple question. What problem am I trying to solve? If the answer is unclear, the additional light may be unnecessary. One of the most common mistakes beginners make is using every light they own simply because they have them. The result is often confusing shadows, competing highlights, and photographs that lack a clear visual direction. Master photographers often use fewer lights than beginners because they understand that simplicity creates clarity. Lighting ratios also become important in multi-light setups. The key light should generally remain the brightest source. The fill light should support the key light, not compete with it. Accent lights such as rim lights or hair lights should be subtle enough to enhance the image without distracting the viewer. As your lighting becomes more sophisticated, communication with your subject becomes even more important. Multiple lights should never make the studio feel intimidating. The equipment exists to support the creative process, not to dominate it. Practice each lighting arrangement repeatedly. Begin with 1 light. Add a fill light and observe how the shadows change. Then add a rim light and notice how the subject separates from the background. Finally, experiment with a background light and compare the emotional effect. By changing only 1 light at a time, you will quickly understand the purpose of every component. In fine art figure photography, successful lighting is not measured by complexity. It is measured by intention. Every light should contribute to the story. Every shadow should have meaning. Every highlight should guide the viewer's attention. When multiple lights work together in harmony, they no longer appear as separate pieces of equipment. They become a single creative language that transforms light into emotion and photography into art.